welcome to another episode of What If It's Cool, the show where we talk about anything and everything that is cool in the world today. I am DPC himself, Daniel Porcro, and on this episode, we talk to WWE, TNA Impact Wrestling, and now current New Japan Pro Wrestling superstar, TJP, aka TJ Perkins. We talk about his recent match at Wrestle Kingdom 17, as well as his career so far, and the upcoming World Series Wrestling Unleash Hell Tour, and out of all Stranger Things, TikTok. So sit back, relax, and enjoy Stranger Things Happen When You're Bullying a Wall, the TJ Perkins interview. Also, again, thank you so much for being part of the show, man. We really appreciate it. So, firstly, you just recently performed at Wrestle Kingdom 17, and it was an absolutely fantastic match. That spot where Leo got busted open, was that actually planned, or was that a pure accident?
I mean, we didn't mean to mutilate him. we did intend to take him up there and do what we did, but that was kind of turned out to be a happy accident, I guess you could say.
Fair enough. Is he okay now, and was he?
Yeah.
And he was like totally cool. He's like, "Oh, mate, it just happens," you know, like that. Or was he pretty angry?
Oh yeah, no, yeah. I mean, Leo's really a soldier. He's good with anything, but I mean, there wasn't anything that was like serious. I think he just one of those things where he probably needed a day or two to collect himself. You know, I felt really bad. He ended up missing a date on the schedule. I think he had PWG coming back to America, so he had to, I think, take off of that. But otherwise, I mean, he was okay. It was just, you know, yeah.
All right, as long as he's all right, that's all that matters. Now, you get told that you're going to be opening first. What's the first thing that comes to your mind, and how did it all come about?
Among the locker room, it's usually a general ideology that if you're not first or if you're not last, you want to be first. A lot of people like that. Like the first match out of the gate is almost like, we almost see it like somewhat as like an unofficial main event, because like it's a similar spot. You have to set the tone for the whole night, and you kind of get like a fresh audience in a way on shows like this where there's like different pre-show events and other things going on. It's a little bit different, but essentially once everybody knows the main show is starting, I mean, that first one out the gate is usually pretty big. It's like being part of a starting lineup in like sports or something. So, you know, it's a pretty important tone. I was really happy to get that position.
Yeah, it was a great position. It was a great match, and it just set the tone for the rest of the show. It was the whole Wrestle Kingdom was really great, and kudos to everyone who was a part of it. But when you're playing the match, is it a lot of it's called on the fly, or do you have a rough idea for something like that, especially for something like Wrestle Kingdom?
Yeah, I've always been somebody that every person's different. You know, it's like an artist, and everybody has a different process how they want to paint their painting or act their scene or play their song. But and I have enough experience now. I've been blessed with, I guess you could say, the experience to be able to do it, you know, any different way. It's usually kind of primarily what my job is now. For the longest time is sort of been to be like a quarterback for everything, because I could sort of play the way anybody else needs to play. For me personally, I prefer to kind of do it in the moment. That's I like to go in with not much of a game plan, because it's really, especially coming out of the pandemic season and everything like that, you get back to normal and audiences are returning, and that's really the heart and soul of what we do is to create a living and breathing moment, you know. So to craft it, in my opinion, to craft something ahead of time, you're gambling. You know, you're kind of hoping that's just what they want to see, and you know, a performer and a good artist, I think, can still take that plan and mold it on the fly. But I've always been somebody that would prefer to just take the whole block of clay out there and just say, you know what, I'll cut it right in front of you guys, you know.
I think that's a good approach, to be honest. I think if you, like you're saying, you know, if you plan ahead, you know, it's iffy. But if you do it on the fly, something's automatically going to work by doing that, and you get a better reaction sometimes, because like some of the best moments that we've had in this sport has been on the fly, and yeah, that's a great approach. Now, in doing research for the show, I thought I only knew you from TNA when you were was it Suicide? What they changed the name to the character? What was it?
Manic.
Manic.
Yeah.
I found out two things that were very, very interesting, and this all came from Wikipedia, so you could tell what kind of research I got. Firstly, you were Puma, who I absolutely love, and you were on a show that I absolutely loved, and I found out in this one, and it's actually killed me now, finding out that you didn't have a good time at Wrestling Society X.
Oh, I mean, I had a fine time there. I never have a bad time really anywhere. It was just very short. I was only there for part of the first season, and I think really only two things maybe even made it to tape or to air.
Yeah, it was like it was like their side show and then the main show. Because you're in the Battle Royal, I believe, for the first episode.
Yeah. So I mean, I really didn't do many matches, but so it was really just short. And it was fine. Actually, the people that produced that show and put it together, I'm still friends with. I still work with them on a lot of things. A lot of those guys are part of the Mass Republic, so like they do a lot of like merchandising and like put together shows and stuff on like the lucha libre side of the culture. And so I still work with the guys that from that project quite often, actually. Yeah, I mean, I had an okay time. It was just really short as all.
Yeah. Okay. So that makes me feel so much better, because I was like, oh man, I still watch it on DVDs, because
a lot of people really like it. It has kind of a cult following. It's become a little favorite gem for people to discover.
Yeah. Man, it wasn't always the best when it came to like the vignettes and stuff, but if you just take it back and just watch it for what it is, you're gonna have a good time. So if anyone hasn't seen Wrestling Society X, try to find it. I think it's on the internet somewhere, but you can get the
it's
DVD
a great
on
precursor. It's a great precursor to Lucha Underground, I thought.
Yeah.
It felt very similar in the way that it was like kind of put together in this gritty Fight Club sort of way, just didn't have the cinematic approach quite yet. And that was really what the evolution of it was, I think.
Well, I didn't mind it. I just preferred WSX, to be honest. I think it's because it was the first one I watched. I think that's why I liked it.
It was a very unique project, yeah.
But I also found out in this research that we not only do we have the same birthday, we're both half Filipino.
Oh wow! Add you two with Robbie to the list of part Filipinos from that part of the world.
Man, it's because like I mean I noticed in some of your attire you had the Filipino flag, but I didn't put like click in my head that you were half Filipino. I thought you were full, and then I was like, oh, he's like me. Great, another one, awesome.
Yeah, we're representing the halfies,
100%. What? Just curious, what's your other half?
My dad is a farm boy from Kansas City. I was born in Kansas City, actually, out here. So, yeah, he's just white middle American. I think his ancestry is like English, French, German, just very, very middle American.
Okay, so very similar to me. My dad's Welsh, Irish, Australian. So yeah.
Okay, yeah.
But do you have a ludicrously long Filipino name as well, or no?
No. Because my since my dad is the white side of the family, I grew up. I'm a junior, so I grew up with his name. Teddy James Perkins is my real name. It's not a wrestling name. So I sound like a like Jesse James or something. Like I sound like a like a old Midwestern train robber or something like that.
Oh, that sounds cool. Like my actual real name is Paul Daniel Bonago Candelaria Gal Hong Sichi Chong Kro the first. Don't make me say it again because it's really tough to just spell it all out. But
wow.
It's what happens when your family has multiple names, especially if your parents get adopted. They just add everything to your name, and it's just like, whoa. So I'm like, I'm
My
thinking,
mom.
hoping someone else has the same thing, but clearly not.
No, my mom's family name. So my mom's the Filipino side. My mom's family name is Kasem, but the other names in the family are like Santiago, Gonzalez. Yeah, there's a lot.
You don't have any Benagos or Candelaros in your family?
I don't think so.
Ah, damn! I was hoping that we were somewhere related. I was like, damn.
Yeah, I mean, if we go far enough back, I'm sure we are. I feel like the culture is linked that way. You know, it's how we have radar.
Yeah, especially with the rest of the boys on the show, because 3/4 of the show is Filipino. We all just say we're cousins anyway, so yeah, it's just easier that way.
Yeah, yeah.
So you're coming out to the World Series Wrestling tour in March. Firstly, how did that come about?
Well, I had been contacted prior to this. I think for last year's tour, maybe, maybe even before that. I'm not sure. I just remember last year trying to see if the schedule would match up, and I think the window of confirmation had passed before I kind of knew what my schedule was. It's because last year's, like, starting with the Super Juniors, my schedule rapidly changed. I basically lived in Japan, sort of. So that didn't line up, and just staying in contact and really wanting to be able to do it. There's not a lot of stuff that maybe this is me getting old in wrestling, but there's not a lot of stuff that I have. Like, I don't really have a bucket list anymore, and there's not a lot of stuff that I look forward to, or like I keep as like, man, I really want to try to get this project in at some point. And but this was one of them, and so we stayed in touch, and then I had seen that this tour was coming up, and we reconnected, and there was still spots left to fill out the tour roster, and I got my schedule just in time to be able to confirm it, and it worked out. So
I'm really excited that you're going out, because the moment I saw it, fortunately we didn't do a reaction video because I was doing my regular 9 to 5, but I was just like, like that. I was like, oh my god, okay, he's coming, great.
Yeah, I got a surprisingly positive, like a lively reaction, more than I thought. I don't go to Australia often. I've been there a few times in the past, not many, and it's great. And it's I just wasn't sure previously if it was like, it's good, but maybe for me and for the regional fans, and maybe it's just like another stop that happens every now and again. I didn't realize there were so many people looking forward to me coming back.
Oh hell yeah, we love you down here.
once the announcement went out, I was like, oh, this is cool. Like, now we can kind of start promoting it, because obviously it's like, it's a secret until they announce the names. And then it was like, like from one day to the next, I was surprised to see how much positive reactions were rolling through. I was like, wow, I didn't know everybody was looking that forward to me coming back. But I mean, it's great, because I know that especially for the pandemic, it was such a like, I feel like you guys had a pretty heavy, comparative to the world, like you guys had a pretty heavy like lockup. Like,
I don't think heavy is the right word to use. It was absolutely hell. Like, I honestly, and I've said this on a previous episode with a few other people we've actually interviewed. I honestly have no idea how the wrestling industry, especially in Victoria, lasted, because I really thought a lot of them were going to fold, and luckily only a handful did. But yeah, it was a terrible 2 years for us here in Melbourne.
Yeah, so I mean, knowing that, I guess in retrospect now, it's like, maybe I'm not that surprised that everybody's excited to have stuff like this coming in and out, like, which doesn't really necessarily have anything to do with me individually.
Nah, don't sell yourself short, man.
But being part of it's but being part of it's definitely exciting, and I'm really happy to come back.
Oh, beautiful. Insane, because I was going to say, have you been to Australia before? But obviously you have. I actually have a question for you, because a few years ago at a PCW show, there was a guy who dressed up as Manic and wrestled, I think it was Tricky. Was that you?
Oh, no, that would not have been that would not have been me. Unless I have a very, very, very bad memory, or I do not realize that CTE is already set in. I don't believe it was me.
Okay, no, because I just remember seeing someone post a video. I was like, "Is that suicide? What the? Who the hell is what?" And because you were in Impact Wrestling at the time, so I was like thinking something's up. But if it wasn't you, then I don't know who it was. I'm gonna do more research on this.
One of the mysteries of the universe.
Maybe it could be an episode for Dark Side of the Ring. Maybe you never know. All right, so we're going to ask a new staple question that we're going to have here on What If It's Cool. As a kind of an icebreaker, I should have done at the start, but just going to do it towards the end. What is something that you find cool that everyone appreciates and everyone loves and is on the same page with you, but what is something that you find cool that no one does, and why should we find it cool?
Do you want me to answer both sides of that coin or just the latter? Okay. I mean, I don't know. I feel like there's nothing that I think in terms of like interest wise, like everything I think is cool, nobody thinks is cool. And everything that everybody else thinks is cool, I never think is cool. Like, so that's a tough one to try to think of what is in line with everybody else. Gosh, that's tough.
Well, I'll give you a good example for myself. I, being a 36-year-old, somewhat manly bloke, I love Downton Abbey, and I get ridiculed by everyone. Like, how the hell can this guy like Downton Abbey? I'm just like, have you watched it? How freaking awesome it is! Everyone, always gives shit about it. I'm just like, guys, it's actually a good show. Seriously, watch it.
Let's see. I mean, there's not a lot of stuff I want. I mean, I like Stranger Things. I guess everybody likes Stranger Things. You know, I like it. I like it. All right. I mean, I guess I'm not. I don't think it's the greatest thing in the world, but I do really enjoy it. So there's that as far as like viewing goes. There's not a lot of stuff I watch. Like, I hate like TikTok, for example, like I don't like homemade content in that way. Like, I don't think people hanging out in their living room and, hey, this funny moment happened that lasts 20 seconds. I'm going to put it to a young such and such or a lil such and such rap song. Like, I don't think stuff like that's entertaining at all, So like, that's something that's different, is because, like, I mean, I don't know anybody else that can't spend half their day just scrolling through reels and stories and TikToks. And it's mind numbing to me. I can't even sit through. It's funny because somebody that is like that, I feel like they can't sit through movies anymore. Like, their attention span is like so short from like, like 20. Yep. And I feel like that's a generational thing, but the odd thing is, for me, I can't sit through a 20-second TikTok, but I'll sit through a 2.5-hour movie, no problem. Like, if I sit there with it, like, my brain gets itchy. Like, 5 seconds into the TikTok, I'm like, when is this going to be over? Like, if somebody's like, hey, you got to watch this. And I'm like, all right. And like, I start like almost pacing. Like, when is this over? Like, I don't want to sit here anymore. It's only 15 seconds, but I can't stand it. And, but if I could watch Lord of the Rings twice in a row and not even move.
Oh, man, I'd love that. I'd love that marathon with you. That'd be great.
So there's that. Yeah. Like, yeah. I can't get into, it's weird because I think a lot of people think that I'm very in tune, like social media wise, but I really, other than trying to appear human like everybody else and interactive, I try to talk about sports or things I like, which is really not that much. And, promote the projects I'm on. Otherwise, I'm so detached from the modern generation as far as that goes. I don't know. I don't like other people's business. So I don't. And so when other people's business turns into entertainment, I double down on that. I'm like, I'm twice as disinterested now.
Oh, just don't look at the What If It's Cool TikTok page then. Oh God. So I do a lot every day when it comes to TikTok, because we want to stay relevant. We want to just show what we think is cool, what's cool going around anyway. And I get blasted a lot from the rest of the guys who's like, oh, why do you do that stupid filter? I'm like, well, everyone's doing it. We want to see what's cool anyway. And some of them are cool, but I also badmouth a lot of them as well, because I'm just like, oh, it's giving me a random thing saying, you're jobless, or stuff like that. It's like, oh, great, and I'm just literally sitting there making fun of it the entire time. And occasionally you might get a good one where, well, I wouldn't call this a good one, because I had to hold back the tears. It actually said something. It was like, who are you missing right now? And it brought up my parents, and literally, like, it caught me off guard. Like, whoa, okay. And then I was like, yep. And then Mario Kart, just tears poured out, and just like, oh God, that one got me. And yeah, like yourself, you're saying you can't. It's annoying, and that's the main reason why we started doing it, because like we could just see so many people doing it. I'm just sitting there just making fun of the entire time.
So I think that's why I go through the motions of like I'll try to use social media more than just promoting like my work, because it's like, when I see other people doing that, it just seems fake, like you're not really on here. You're just here to make money. So then it's like, well, what is human about you? So then I try to be human and like talk about the Lakers, or talk about video games or movies or something, as much as I can. But even then it's like, I also don't care what other people think. So then it's like, so much of the social media generation is crafted about like having a stronger opinion than somebody else, I guess you could say. Like,
yeah, no, I agree with that statement.
Like the idea of like clout or like ratio, like stuff like that. So then it's like I've never cared if I had like the unpopular opinion. So if I talk about sports and they're like, no, nobody thinks that, you're an idiot, this guy's the greatest or whatever. And I'm like, okay, like, sure, whatever. It doesn't matter to me, So then it's moments like that where I sit back and I'm like, what am I doing? I don't care. Like, why do I even waste my time with this stuff?
Oh man, I think just from hearing you speak about this, I think I'm gonna just change my whole approach of how I see social media. Like, I'll still make fun of the social the filters and stuff, but I don't think I'm even going to give a crap, because every now and again we get negative comments left, right, and center from all our socials, and sometimes they really bum me out, especially when I pick apart my appearance. Now I'm just not going to give a crap. If it doesn't bother you, someone who's doing what you're doing and as successful as you are, if you can do it, I can do it. So I think I've always kind of like, because I was bullied a lot as a kid and all that. I was never like a cool kid or anything, and I never aspired to be. But I think at an early age I decided, it's just doesn't matter what other people think. So then it extended. I guess it was like I never got plugged into the matrix once this generation came in. Like, I didn't plug in like everybody else, so It doesn't hurt my feelings. Like, if I don't fall in line with everybody or that, and it also helps to turn everything off. Like, I have like no notifications for anything, so I end up not reading most things. So I find it funny that a lot of people are bullying a wall. Like, they're bullying a brick wall, and they don't realize I'm not even seeing what they're saying. So it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. All right. Well, thank you so much for being part of our show. Just lastly, where can all listeners follow you?
I'm pretty easy. I almost everything I have on social. Well, one, I don't have that many. I got a Twitter and an Instagram, and that's about it. I had a Twitch channel because I was trying to stream all my gaming, but going back and forth to Japan, it's been irregular. So right now I haven't been streaming, but I'll try to get back on that. But my name on everything is Mega TJP, just like Mega Man. But Mega TJP, and that's pretty much it. I don't have a Facebook, so if you follow one, it's a fan page, and so don't expect that I know you're following it. But you can find me on my socials, and I do enjoy Instagram, because I like just putting up a little scrapbook like building a scrapbook, one, because I never keep my own pictures, and I don't take enough pictures in real life. So like, it's nice to be able to have a little photo album and to have minimal talking, and that's nice. But yeah, those are my socials, and then otherwise you can pretty much find me on New Japan Pro Wrestling for the time being. And hopefully, if you haven't already, watch the replay of Wrestle Kingdom. I was particularly proud of this show, and I'm not usually proud of what I do. I move on really quickly, but that's it. That's all I got.
100%. If you guys haven't checked out Wrestle Kingdom 17, definitely check it out. I think it's New Japan World, isn't it? That's the one you use on streaming.
Yeah,
we got it here on Fight.
New Japan World.
Yeah, beautiful. All right. Well, TJ, thank you so much for being part of the show. You're an incredibly cool person. Can't wait to see you in March at the World Series Wrestling Tour. TJ Perkins, thank you much. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for having me. Thank you for having me.
And that's the end of that episode. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the show wherever you get your podcasts. Want more from What If It's Cool? Make sure to check out our YouTube channel, where you can find the latest episodes of Mukbanging Around, Reaction, and of course, the vodcast. And don't forget to follow us on all our socials. We can be found at What If It's Cool. Keep that support coming. And until next time, we'll catch you on the next one. Peace.